everyone. It's my great pleasure today to meet with Mr. Mason Cobb, the chairman of the board director from Victoria Healthcare, and Mr. Rad Kivette from the VinaCapital Foundation. And as we know that the World Heart Day is celebrated annually on the 29th of September, we do that to raise awareness of the cardiovascular disease, to promote the heart care, as well as to call for action from people to support anyone who caught with the cardiovascular disease. And today, because we have two organizations, the Victoria Healthcare and the VinaCapital Foundation, to celebrate this year the World Heart Day on the 2020. So we will have a short discussion about the cardiovascular disease as well as the congenital heart defects in the children, and our efforts every year to save the people with the cardiovascular disease as well as the children with the congenital heart defects. So, dear Dr. Mason, could you please explain what is the cardiovascular disease and what are the risks of people that caught with this disease, and especially during the COVID-19 pandemic?
Certainly. Thank you for the opportunity. First, it seems like in our calendars now, there's a day for everything. But this day is a very important day because cardiovascular disease is literally the #1 killer. And it's a #1 killer in Vietnam, too. About 70,000 deaths a year. And unfortunately, about a third of those deaths are premature. That is, people are cut down while they're still in their productive lives, while they're still raising their families. It's especially risky here because we have a lot of diabetes, a lot of high blood pressure, and unfortunately, a lot of the men still smoke. All of these tremendously increase the risk. Well, what is cardiovascular disease? First, all of our organs, including our nice pink lips and nice pink nail beds, that's from oxygen in our blood. Every organ, every cell in your body requires that oxygen, and it requires it in the blood that is pumped. Your heart pumps that blood, your lungs put oxygen in that blood. The heart is a muscle that's actually a pump. But like any muscle, like if you've exercised a lot, pretty soon you can't lift that weight anymore. And your heart will do that too once it runs out of oxygen. Unfortunately, the blood vessels that supply the heart are quite tiny, only about 2 millimeters. If they get blocked, there's no blood, no oxygen to the heart, you have a heart attack, and in the worst case, you die. You need to get help right away when that happens. The other thing, the other part of cardiovascular disease that's a real killer here are strokes. And we have a huge number of strokes. And strokes and heart disease are preventable by not smoking, by being sure that you control your blood pressure, and by eating a good diet that basically is quite low in salt. So I would hope that everyone would be aware of this in their own lives, in the lives of the older people in their family.
Thank you for sharing. And dear Mr. Rad Kivette, is there any ways to approach the double-edged threat between the cardiovascular disease and the COVID-19?
Well, of course, it's a pleasure for me to be here also and to sit with this highly esteemed doctor and gentleman here at Victoria Clinic, so thank you for the opportunity. When it comes to the COVID impact on cardiovascular disease, our approach at VinaCapital Foundation has been to provide our children, and in some cases even adults, with protective gear and advice on what they can do to avoid getting the COVID-19. And the reason for that, of course, is that our children with congenital heart defects are probably the most vulnerable group in the whole world. It's a small group, so it doesn't get a lot of attention, But at the same time, as Dr. Cobb has pointed out, congenital heart defects, much like cardiovascular disease, is a combination of a heart problem, a heart issue, as well as a lungs issue and an oxygen issue. And since COVID-19 is a respiratory disease, it's just almost automatic. If the children contract COVID-19 who have congenital heart defects, it's very, very likely to become a fatality in a very short period of time because of the vulnerability. So it's very important that we equip the children and their families and the hospitals that we deal with to be able to protect the people as much as we can who have cardiovascular disease and congenital heart defects so that they have a chance to be healed.
Yeah, thank you for this very useful information. So today, upon when we talk about the cardiovascular disease, we cannot forget about the congenital heart defect, one long-term topic that the VinaCapital Foundation and its program, the Heart Beat Vietnam, is working for more than 14 years to save nearly 8,000 life-saving surgeries for the children. And we cannot do this without the esteem, the long-term support from our loyal partners like the Victoria Healthcare. And so, dear Dr. Mason, could you please give some more define about the congenital heart defects, and is there any treatment for this symptom?
Yes, thank you very much again. And we're honored to be partners with VinaCapital Foundation in giving this desperately needed care to babies. First, let me say that what happens in congenital heart disease is that the structure of the heart is not normal when the baby is born. Again, the heart is a pump, and like any pump, it needs good seals, it needs good input, it needs good output, and those are interfered with. Unfortunately, there's no good medicine that you can just go to the pharmacy and get that will help. This is usually a surgical issue. It requires unbelievable, amazing expertise. It requires a lot of equipment. And in this case, it's also very expensive, and yet this is so desperately needed by these babies. That's why, as I address this, I hope that you can find it within yourself to help these children by helping the VinaCapital Foundation. So some of the amazing work that the VinaCapital Foundation has done is recognizing these babies in areas that are outside the city, that are in rural areas where maybe even the experts in the area are not able to recognize these problems.
So dear Mr. Rad Kivette, so as VinaCapital Foundation is helping for more than nearly 8,000 children with a congenital heart defect. So do you have any advices for the parents whose children have the congenital heart defects in a normal time as well as in the very special pandemic, the COVID-19 like this?
Well, we've talked a little bit about the COVID impact and how we can deal with that, and I think it's worth repeating to say that this disease is a death sentence for children with congenital heart defects, and it's even a death sentence, I might add, for an adult with cardiovascular disease. Would be just as vulnerable. We really need to continue to social distance. We need to continue to wear masks, even though times are good. We need to continue to protect especially our vulnerable children, and certainly elderly and other people who have pre-existing conditions who are most vulnerable to the COVID. So that's part of it, just generally. So we need to continue to build up our healthcare system and our capacity all the way down to the district level. And we need to get the word out to families that if you have a child that you don't think is like the rest of the children in the neighborhood, you might want to have that heart checked and do what you have to do to get there, to get that done. If they'll tell us they have a heart problem and they don't have any money, VinaCapital Foundation, Heartbeat Vietnam will take care of the rest. We'll take care of the travel, we'll take care of the surgery, and we'll take care of the post-op care. And the reason we can do that is because of wonderful people like Victoria Clinic and Dr. Cobb who support us.
Thank you. So it is amazing on the occasion of the World Heart Day 2020, and the two organizations, Victory Healthcare as well as the VinaCapital Foundation, responds in this occasion, the World Heart Day. So do you have any sharing about the engagement of this year with the Heartbeat Vietnam of VinaCapital Foundation to promote the heart care as well as to call for more people in joining hands to save more life of the people?
I think you stated that wonderfully, joining hands to improve the lives of people, in this case especially babies. And we're honored and grateful to join hands
Thank you, Mason.
in caring for these babies. Both organizations have the same goal, and that's that people can live healthy, happy lives. And the things that we can do in our clinic that help to support VinaCapital Foundation, we're happy to do so.
Thank you. Dear Mr. Rad Kivette, as VinaCapital Foundation is a member of the World Heart Federation, do you have any messages to convey for this special occasion, the World Heart Day 2020? As well as this year, Heartbeat Vietnam will have a campaign named the Use Heart to Save Heart.
Absolutely. You knew the answer to the first question, but let me say that the reason we're members of the World Heart Federation is because we're at VinaCapital Foundation, Heartbeat Vietnam, and all of our other programs for that matter, we are committed to healthy hearts. And you can look at it 100 different ways. Even if the child is healthy, if they have a parent who has a heart condition, that is going to be a very detrimental impact on the family. We focus on the children, but we're also focused, as I said, on healthy hearts and making sure that the parents of these children, in particular the mothers of these children, are aware of the other issues that cardiovascular disease, like we've talked about diabetes and hypertension and things like that. And as Mason said, cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer in the world. And the World Heart Federation is focused on providing the necessary knowledge and activities to make sure that we do our best to bring those numbers down or to reduce the number of cases of cardiovascular disease.
So thank you so much for your valuable sharing. Dear everyone, so we do believe that today valuable sharing from Dr. Mason and Mr. Rad Kivette will give you an expand knowledge about the cardiovascular disease as well as the congenital heart defect and also the World Heart Day. We strongly believe that this sharing will boost the participation of yours in promoting your heart care as well as to raise awareness of you to take lead in protecting your heart as well as also your beloved ones. Thank you.